last week. So we're looking forward to having a good best of three today and continuing on. With that said, I am joined by co-caster, of course, today. And today I'm going to be joined by the one and only Insania. Stepping on, Insania. How's it going?
I'm doing just great. I'm really happy to be here. Excited to cast. Two great teams, and I haven't watched Han for a week, so I'm really excited to do this.
Got to get caught up because obviously just officially announced as of recently. I want to say even this last week, and it was basically officially announced yourself, and it's going to be myself, Beef, you, and Nova going to be the casting team at the World Finals. I'm really looking forward to that. I know you are, of course.
Yeah,
I can't wait for that, man. We got 2 weeks, basically 2 weeks until that's all going to be taking place. So, anyways, we got some good Han in the meantime, and with that said, we are already kicking off here in this best out of 3. So here we are as far as, let's always start with the bands. Ophelia and a Puppet Master, Tempest and a Parasite. Speaking of a hero that really has just come on strong as far as competitive scene lately, Puppet Master, no doubt one of those choices. Band out here, Pharaoh's the first pick. A little interesting there. Rhapsody Response, Pestilence, and Engineer. And now Master of Arms so far coming up. But no doubt Pharaoh's got to be that one little bit standout here as far as first pick.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Pharaoh, I think it's a hero that Recent Gaming runs really well. This is a team that, when they're able to win their lanes and then snowball from that with a lot of map control heroes, that's when they do the best. When they run stuff like Nephora Pebbles, Pharaoh, I think that's really comfort heroes, so I like that they first picked that. That's a hero that they do good with.
Yeah.
Maybe you could argue you don't need to first pick it, maybe get the Pestilence, but hey, it worked out. Maybe they wanted the option of choosing between Rhapsody and Pestilence, leaving both of those options open, and then taking the one that BMG did not choose to go for. Mm-hmm. And therefore just went for a safe hero for themselves. But no, very, I think their draft is good for their team. I'm not really sure if they're a Pestilence team. I would have much rather seen them play Pebbles or Nymphora, something like that.
Yeah.
But it's still possible to run a Pestilence Nymphora. We did it back in NK, and it's very strong. I just really want to see those map control heroes on their team. The Nymph, definitely a really strong pick for them. Yeah. Maybe even will be banned out by BMG.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised to see that band coming along here in the next tier of bands. But you see right there, the final pick from BMG, speaking of them, Chronos coming out. So they got their most likely will turn out to be a suicide option. Again, another hero that's kind of just come on really strong lately on the competitive scene, thanks to Keizu especially. Playing it very well. But here we are, though. Again, recent gaming, as you mentioned, that Pharaoh first pick, still interesting. But yeah, Zane does play a great Pharaoh, so we'll see how it turns out for him. But moving along into the bands now, both teams kind of focusing more on that carry-style band, it looks like. You got Moon Queen into Sandwraith to start, and then there's even Wretched Hag on top of that. So seems like both teams kind of concerned about the carries here initially.
Yeah, I'm not really sure about that Sandwraith ban from BMG. It does synergize quite well with the Pharaoh, but running a Pestilence and a Sandwraith on the same lineup with an MOA as well, I feel like that would make the lanes pretty weak for Reason. And this is a team that's known to pick really strong lanes. That's their number one priority. Make sure we can win 2 out of 3 lanes every game.
Yeah. And
without junglers on the board, it's very risky to run these weaker lanes or weaker supports like MOA and stuff like that if you don't have the right carries to support them with. So I'm not really sure about the Sandwraith ban. I like the Drunken Master ban. A hero that, I mean, Reason runs all the time, and the synergy between Pestilence and Drunken Master is absolutely crazy. So really good ban there.
Yeah, the minus armor definitely very potent, not only with Pestilence, but of course Master of Arms on top of that. So yeah, just really taking away that option there. That could have been very likely from Recent Gaming. So BMG, you see Gauntlet's that final ban even coming out for Recent Gaming. So of course Super KG over here on Bad Monkey Gaming, definitely a hero you want to try to take away perhaps. But there still is something like that Devo option or whatnot that they could definitely go with. Devo, maybe Ravener even. Pretty popular options here, but Andromeda is going to be that supported choice. So Nymphora wasn't banned out, but they do go Andromeda in the end. You think they're missing out on an opportunity there?
I'm not sure. I think their options are still open. They could run the Master of Arms Andromeda lane middle. Sure. That's a lot of negative armor, and it's a very powerful harass lane. And on top of that, it's really good to take out Ancients early on. And I think when you're playing Legion, it's very important that your middle lane is able to take Ancients early because you have such a close distance to your Ancients compared to the Hellborn, who has to walk quite a long distance to get there. And it's so easy for you to farm them safely. So I think it's a really good choice to always pick a strong dual lane mid to do Ancients early when you're Legion. Yeah. And that's what they're doing. I would love to see the Nymphora pick right here to round out their picks.
Yeah, I guess, I kind of overlooked that. Very true. It still could be a Nymphora with the final pick, and the setup would make sense. But I'm actually really intrigued by that Magnus pick. I'm not really a BMG kind of hero. Super KG not known for playing a whole lot of Magnus, but they're going to be running the Mag Engineer possibly here, it looks like.
Yeah. I mean, I think they also want to keep the possibility of going for a tri-lane in case Reason goes for that Nymphora pick. Since they didn't ban him, I'm pretty sure that they know that Reason plays this hero. This is like very, very typical Reason gaming. What did they run? Nymphora. It's the one hero I think about every time
Yeah.
I think about Reason. So probably wanting to keep the tri-lane options open. Magnus and Kronos, both good solos that could also be used in tri-lanes and have easy times rotating for the supports. If Rhapsody and Engineer comes to lane to gank for either Kronos or Mag, it's really, really easy. So there's really good synergy between the heroes for BMG if they set up for a tri-lane.
Yeah.
And yeah, just a lot of AoE damage right now from them.
Ooh, Vindicator coming out. So maybe not expecting the whole Vindy pick in the end, but Vindicator, Reason Gaming has shown that they play in that, and kind of one of these heroes that it's very annoying to deal against. Every now and then we'll see him just banned out because of that. Going to be picked up here by Reason Gaming, though, so they go the Vindy route in the end.
Yeah, he got a pretty significant buff recently to his Glyph of Silence in his final chapter, where everybody that's inside of the Glyph of Silence range when the final chapter goes off gets perplexed.
Yeah.
Which is a really, really big deal. It's basically a AoE Hellflower on everybody inside of that range, and it just, you're not able to do anything. No BKBs, nothing like that. And against an AoE lineup like this, the timing in teamfights is very, very important. They got one setup that everything needs to follow up on top of. And if you're not able to get that timing off, it's very, very crucial. So the Vindicator, I think, is a really, really good pick here if he's able to get that early farm and not be too squishy to stand up front. So even though I would have liked the Nymphora, I think this is just fine pick, and wow.
Okay.
This is YOLO. Tri-lane for sure.
That's, so, yeah, you calling the tri-lane here, especially with that final pick chipper?
I mean, I think so, but then again, it's BMG. They've ran Suicide Chipper before, and I could see them doing it again, but...
Yeah.
I mean, I personally, right now, the tri-lane from the Reason Gaming side is really, really not that powerful. So what would have to happen is them dodging. And I think BMG picked a very, very smart lineup to deal with a team that dodges the tri-lane.
Okay.
And I would really like to see them run the Magnus tri-lane long lane, put the Kronos up top, and Chipper middle. I think that just makes their lanes really, really strong. I'd say they're gonna get farm on every single lane.
Yeah.
And they're probably gonna even win 2 out of 3 lanes and put them at a really good advantage going into the early game phase.
Yeah. Yeah, no jungler, obviously, on either side, so that's definitely something that stands out here as far as game number 1 is concerned. But again, we've had those phases. We'll see a game with both teams have junglers, other games where they just don't have junglers. One of those cases, no junglers either side, unless it's something really crazy. Probably not going to happen though. Yeah, Fuzi playing the Kronos though, so again, not playing the Jonas of Fan Kronos here. So as you mentioned, he's going to be playing the Chipper and more of that solo run. You see the makings of what looks like could possibly be that aggressive trial lane. Sure enough, coming out here from BMG. Rhapsody, Magnus, and Engineer. That definitely has a lot of power written all over it in terms of potential. Yep. So
the kill potential is definitely there. In terms of the two teams, and you mentioned the no junglers, there were 3 of the main junglers were banned out in the first banning phase, and I personally think that favors Reason Gaming because they generally don't play jungle. They're very, True. Very, very lane-heavy players. They want to win the lanes. That is priority number 1. So I think in terms of strategy, this kind of is a little bit more in Reason Gaming's comfort zone. I feel BMG, they're the most dangerous when they're pushing. That's when they're at their strength, when they're able to force those team fights and just win them. They got a really strong team fight team, but the problem is I feel like they're going to run into kind of a wall where they're not really going to be able to push. They don't really have the heroes to push, and they don't really have the heroes to gank effectively unless they come out of lanes really, really strong. So this tri-lane really needs to work out for them with the roaming as well.
All right. So we'll see how that ultimately does play out here for both these sides. But again, BMG sure enough, they're going that aggressive trial lane, so expect to see some action in this bottom lane. Very, very possible here, to say the least. Again, especially with that kill potential on the Hellborn side. So yeah, Imboy and Vindicator, he's going to be heading towards that middle lane for now. As you're talking about, of course, Andromeda right now assisting here in the middle lane, but we'll see if any rotations perhaps happen as a result of this. The one certainty, though, is pretty much Pharaoh versus Kronos at the top side. Both being the melee aspect. Real quickly before action kind of picks up here, how do you see that top lane kind of breaking down? Advantage for either side?
It's going to be farm for both heroes. We see a little bit pool. Like, Kronos has a hatchet. Pharaoh doesn't. Probably going to get a little bit more CS on the Kronos than the Pharaoh will.
Yeah.
But it's essentially just going to be 2 heroes farming up there. Shouldn't be too much action happening.
Yeah. So, the action, once again, bottom lane. That's where we should expect to see it. So, yeah, they're keeping the Andromeda here in the middle lane for now. So, again, was this expected? Do you think they should be making the change, or...?
I don't really think they can. If they rotate the Andrew bottom, they're still not... Like, Andrew doesn't really have much lane presence at this bottom lane. They're still going to have a really, really hard time getting much. So keeping the Andrew middle might force BMG to rotate one of their supports if they're not able to get kills on bottom, but they already got the lane control, which is really, really big. Now Pestilence and MOA are going to be forced out of lane pretty much, so we'll see what they do. I think they need to rotate their lanes. They need to put the Pharaoh down there and move the Pestilence MOA top. The problem with that, however, is that it opens up roaming for the two supports from BMG to freely move around the map.
Yeah. All right, so as far as rotations are concerned, right now you see Master of Arms. He's going to be going for that 2-minute rune here. There is a ward of sight placed by BMG. In fact, nobody's going to be looking to gank middle, but I'm pretty sure he was spotted, if anything. And you can tell Chipper, yeah, he's going to actually be able to find him here in the jungle. This could get interesting, actually. They're really trying to dive. Jonathan fan. Yeah, here comes the dive from Andromeda. There we go with the Sage's Orb. But now Vindicator actually in a lot of trouble right here. Not going to be enough, though. Chipper gets locked out with the combat stun. Health potion use is coming out, and Chipper will fall right there when it's all said and done. I said Sage's Lore, I mean Brain Drain. That was the former name. But anyways, Bloodlust kill in favor of Recent Gaming. So big dive ends up paying off for them.
Yeah, that was a really, really brave play. I for sure thought Imbaboy was going to die there, but little bit of hesitation from Jonas with the Rockets there, not able to find the angle in time. And he was able to get the health bot, so really good kill for them. That's really, really big. As I said, if BMG doesn't really take off early game, I think they were going to have a really hard time in the mid game when Pestilence gets his blink and Pharaoh's got him levels to really control the map with that.
Yeah. And you can just tell, too, again, obviously, the Brain Drain, great harassment tool. Chipper is constantly playing very, very passive here as far as his positioning. Again, Andromeda, the position that he has. Jonathan knows he's there, but he still has to play very defensively, kind of off to the side. You see Vindicator kind of going in right here. Andromeda running down, and Chipper realizing quickly he might be in some trouble. There's a combo, so Jonathan not reacting fast enough. I thought for sure he knew that was coming, but he just underestimated it, I guess.
In all honesty, I think he could have just ran there. Andro no boots as a really slow hero. Actually, Chipper is pretty slow too, but they got the same movement speed, so he would have been completely fine if he just kept running there.
That's
chose to turn around
about,
and yeah.
Odd decision, but in the end, Jonas Fan gets picked off. So Engineer now rotating to the middle lane. Obviously, you see the adjustments kind of being made here fully by Reason Gaming. Not ending up rotating the Pharaoh, but they do send Master of Arms all the way to the top lane, making an aggressive dual lane. And now Pestilence, he is going to be getting some 1v1 farm here because of the rotation coming out from the Hellborn side. So a lot of movement here early on, as you may have expected because of the initial setup coming out from both of these sides so far. And this goes back to as well, BMG is suggesting they need to get that better start, but right now, Vindicator in the lead. As I say that, though, going to be gone in a little bit right here. Oil comes out, a couple of rockets, Rhapsody running with a staccato, says Engineer could not get close enough for the keg down. He missed it initially, but it will be enough for the kills. Handskin gets credit for it right there on Engineer. Now Andromeda might be in a little bit of trouble. Kegs down, won't connect on him. Fork lighting off to the side. Disco Inferno put down. Down goes Andromeda. St. Rock's getting there late, and that's going to be coming to cost most likely. No, he will be fine. But, yeah, got there way too late for assistance. So, speaking of rotating, BMG does plenty of their own, and, well, they end up getting a couple of kills in the process. So, good time calming things down there for BMG.
Yeah, definitely. And they needed this. When you pick Chipper in your draft, you really, really got to make sure the hero wins this lane. He's really, really powerful if he's able to get those early levels, take off, and just run around the map and kill heroes on his own. But if he doesn't get that, he really just misses his prime timing and doesn't do much. So really good rotations to mid. They need to make sure that Chipper gets good farm. And I actually think they could have kept going there and get that last kill as well. They had the mana on Chipper, and he had a bottle charge saved up. So a little bit of a misplay on their end.
Yeah.
But in the end, they still get 2 kills, and they all get away. So really good exchange for them.
You see back to the bottom lane here again. More movement. Again, Master of Arms now back down here. Magnus taking a little bit of pressure, but Magnus already got the Ghost Marchers picked up, and in fact, he's going to stun it right there. Beautiful line stun. In comes the Kegs down. The turret on top. St. Rox was not ready for this, and Handscan will end up getting credit for the kill. So, yeah, good execution there from BMG, catching them off guard completely and able to set things up. Meanwhile, at the top lane, Pharaoh's being gone. I don't know if it's going to be enough. He put some mummy walls up, and, yeah, will stall them from getting a kill as well up there. But the pressure is good, and Fuzi opening up to more free farm here at the top side. So, good. So, BMG again, they have now calmed things down, and they're starting to get some presence here in these lanes. When you look at it again, especially Magnus, getting kind of quiet down there because of the circumstances and rotating, but especially after that sequence right there. He's level 6, 366 gold per minute. Going to be going in once again. Can they get this kill to Pestilence? Most likely dodges the Impale stun. He obviously saw that come in. And Hanskin again getting credit for the kill, but another assist there for Magnus. He's off to a very strong start, including going the Ghost Marchers first, as I said.
Yeah.
So
I think the Ghost Marchers were a really smart pickup from Super KG this game. They left him pretty early in the lane, and Ghost Marchers are just amazing for the laning phase. It's really, really hard to beat another hero with Ghost Marchers when they got it in lane.
Yeah.
And when you're Pestilence going up against the Magmus, you're already at kind of a disadvantage because of the Volcanic Touch. But when Magmus on top of that has the better start, phase boost just a really, really smart pickup from his end there.
You see right there, he's actually going to be placing a ward aside at the bottom rune. I don't know if he perched it necessarily, but got the ward aside and eventually placed it down there for some more vision on the map. Another Portent down here. Engineer is 4-0-0, by the way. Not too often you see a 4-0-0 Engineer support to start things off in this game. But again, Hanskin's movement here has been top-notch, to say the least. And definitely allowing him some decent farm, including those early boots and power supply. Uh-oh. Pestilence, what are you doing? Oh, he almost flew a little bit too far and actually still might be in some trouble. Magmus lines down just in max range. Pestilence, he's in a lot more trouble now. Kegstone will connect. It pushed him forward, though. That could be the difference maker. The turn, yes, it will be enough. That's Rhapsody's auto attack just enough to go through. You even saw Jonas Man coming over, though. Wow, they are really locking down this Pestilence now. Making that priority, apparently.
Yeah, and it really is. The Pharaoh already isn't having the greatest game. He was up top lane. They brought it up to Rhapsody, put some pressure on him. Those are the two main heroes for them to lock down early game. Vindicator really isn't going to be the game changer now if he gets the farm. He's really going to be much more relevant in about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
At the moment, it's all about the Pestilence and the Pharaoh. They're the heroes that are going to give Vindicator the space to really take over and snowball. If they're not able to do it, then it's not going to happen. So the lockdown really needs to remain on Pharaoh, keep the pressure up on Pestilence and Pharaoh. Just the right play from Lions right now.
Yeah.
I mean BMG, sorry.
Well, formerly Lions, yeah. Still every now and then we'll slip up and say that. It's understandable. These are my Lions for so long, but yes, Bad Monkey Gaming. Yeah, again, though, I mean, you can just see Pestilence, he's like, I know something's up. He's basically hugging his tower down here, and he's right to think that because look at the minimap. Rhapsody, Chipper, and Engineer all heading down here once again. They do have Pharaoh nearby ready for the counter gank, but with the numbers that are here, unless TP's come in, nothing on Vindicator. He does have his ultimate, of course, but he doesn't have a TP. You don't got a TP on Andromeda. Master of Arms does, but the numbers would be in favor here of the Hellborn team. So needs to be very, very careful. As soon as Pestilence goes even a little bit more up, I mean, no doubt he's going to be gone on here.
Yeah, Chipper's level 5, so they have the burst that they need to really bring him down. As you said, the Vindicator ulti's up, and he has a haste rune. Oh, there we go.
There we go. There we go. Vindicator final chapter comes out, but it just doesn't matter. The damage is way too much. You saw Rhapsody come in with the flanking case. But, yeah, as we saw coming from a mile away because of the God perspective, obviously we're able to see that, and they were not. So, I mean, that's also a pretty big deal, too, because the final chapter is on cooldown now. Because that's a long cooldown. And actually, bottom lane again, they're going to die Pharaoh completely. Well, that's got to be frustrating for Reason Gaming.
Yep, they do lose a tower, though, in the middle lane, and that is probably the most important tower of the map, the Tier 1 middle tower for Hellborn, because it controls Conqueror so well.
Yeah.
And removing that from Hellborn early on in the game is really, really important. So there's a little bit of good news for Reason Gaming, but they really got to get that Pestilence going. They got to get that Pharaoh into the game, try and set up some kills with it. But yeah, now we're closing in on level 6 on Andro. It's also another really, really important point in this game. We're going up against a Kronos, a Magmus, a Chipper. These are all heroes that really rely on their follow-up. They're going to stun in and want another hero to follow up. If there comes a swap in between there, you can always get a hero out. So,
yeah.
Level 6 on Andro is definitely going to be important.
Yes, it is. And speaking of that, Panny, of course, playing the Andromeda, stepping in for Reason Gaming today to play with them, of course, they're in the King of the Hill match. And not going to find anything, though, at the top side. Obviously, you see Kronos already running away. He is level 8. He has a life tube, by the way, and usually that leads into the Rune Cleaver in this case. Is that where you're thinking with the life tube pickup? I
think so. I don't necessarily agree with the decision, though. He does need to build a kind of a carry route this game, but I would have much rather seen something like the Elder Parasite into pretty much anything else, because looking at their draft, they got so many heroes that Reason Gaming needs to focus before the Kronos is even relevant. Like the Chipper does so much damage early on, Magmus as well, Engineer, Rhapsody, these are all really high priority targets. So I think you could get away with going a little bit more greedier damage items like Elder Parasite. The HP that it provides is going to be enough to keep him alive in the fight. So I don't really agree with Rune Cleaver. I don't think it's the right way to go this game.
Yeah, so we'll see how it works out for Fuzi, but yeah, I can definitely see where you're coming from there. A little bit of a mistake here from BMG. He purchased the Portakey on Magmus now, but he still doesn't have it. The courier came out, but they are going to jump in right here. Pestilence in some trouble. The Eruption more than enough damage. Mass TP, so nice energy field from Hanskin, however. And will that be the difference? Oh, he dodges the Wrath of Pharaoh because it's porting out, and it's going to be successful. Hanskin is just on fire this game, man. Playing that engineer. And a little bit of luck involved there, sure, but still. Made the big plays happen and enough to get away. But as I was saying, Magnus, the courier came out. It was only wards on it, though, so maybe a little bit of misplay. Hey, in the end, it doesn't really matter. They do get the kill they were looking for. And the lead continues to rise here. In fact, they're going to find another kill as Zane will be picked off. And Fuzi actually leading the way with that. Gets credit for the kill. So going the early rune cleaver, but still getting credit for a kill impact. It's looking pretty strong here for Bad Monkey Gaming. I will say, though, Imba Boy, he's got some great farm, but look at the GPM chart. It just dies off after that on the rest of his team. So,
and I think this is I'm really glad to see BMG return to this kind of a play style. For a little while now, they've been running Moon Queen a lot, and I mean it's fine, but I think BMG, in my opinion, they're the strongest when they're able to go for the team fights and they're able to play this like really, really high-paced game. And this is how they were able to beat Stay Green for so many cycles. When the game is really fast and they're just running their own play and they're just snowballing. And the draft that they picked, I was a little bit worried that if they don't get out of lanes well, it's not going to look too good. But they went for the tri lane. They made a right decision. It worked out for them. Reason Gaming did not predict it, or maybe they did, but decided to try and match up a dual laning against a tri lane. But yeah, no, so really good position for BMG right now.
Yeah, Hanskin in the meantime, he did get it jumped on right here. Doesn't have energy field just yet. Is he actually going to live? Are you kidding me? Magnus does it. He will live. And Pestless now in a lot of trouble. Brain Drain coming out, knocking him out of though. Down goes Pestless, and the chase continues. Magnus has another stun in 2 seconds. In 1 second. Boom, shakalaka. Vindicator gets a term kill on Engineer, but again, the damage is just too much. Double tap coming out for Jonas Man. Chronosphere off to the side. Beautiful, because it also got Master of Arms, and now he's going to fall. He picks off Chipper at the last second, so stops the hat-trick streak right there from Jonas Fan. But again, big picture, well in favor of Bad Monkey Gaming. An 8,100 goal lead, a 9,000 experience lead. And here comes a mass push now into the bottom lane. So, yeah, it's safe to say things have definitely come together very nicely for Bad Monkey Gaming. They got the start that they were looking for. And vice versa on the other side, it's just not happening at all for Reason Gaming. I mean, Vindicator, he's not a snowball hero by any means. I mean, he's going to need a lot of time to get that really scary mark, of course. And at least I think that's safe to say. So, even with his successful farm, it just really isn't the most impact. So, I don't know what Recent Game is going to have to do here, but it's going to be a lot to have to come back, that's for sure.
Definitely. I mean, it's a question of strategy here. We saw Reason Gaming, they decided to suicide their Pestilence and their Pharaoh. Oh, they're actually going to go for killing on Fuzi. Are they going to get it? Yeah, they do.
Well, there you go.
That's a good start, I mean. Yeah, exactly. It was the highest GPM hero on their team, I do believe, before that death. So you can't really get a better kill than that. But no, it comes down to strategy, really. They decided to suicide the 2 heroes on their team that are really able to control the map and give them time, give them space, put them in charge of the game. And when you do something like that, normally you see a lot of initiators being suicided, but then they're pulled a lot of regen. They're made sure that this guy is going to be able to fill his role and do what he's supposed to do. And this game, just Zane isn't able to find any kills at all with the Pharaoh. They're just so underfarmed and so behind right now that it's just not looking good at all. But they do find Chipper here.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting sequence, actually. Pharaoh, though, taking a lot of that damage. Eruption coming out. Big stunner from Super KG right there. The Eruption level 2 doing a lot of damage. Pharaoh's going to fall. Vindicator is able to survive and actually Brain Drain doing a lot of counter damage. And Magnus has to run away. Energy field in the background catches Pestilence actually ported in. He's going to be swapped out by Penny, but the rocket in the face to finish him off. As Fork Lightning's going to come out as well, but it doesn't matter. The damage is already done. And now they're on the tower. So Magnus, he had a regen rune. He pops that, and all of a sudden he's back to full life and full mana. So again, it looked like maybe Reason Gaming was going to get an opportunity right there, but wasn't to be. And now they're going to just keep pushing here into the middle lane and going for the secondary tower. So again, it's just all come together nicely here for Bad Monkey Gaming. Yeah, really to touch on what you were saying earlier and saying this definitely is that play style of Bad Monkey Gaming. What they really started to strive with against teams like Stay Green, especially, of course, throughout the Haunt Tour cycles, and kind of to their top phase of when they were playing, of course. And it's just a matter of can they keep that up? Will they play that style going into the World Finals? Well, a couple of weeks beforehand, here they are. And the King of the Hill event looking pretty strong with it. And actually, it's going to continue. The line stun hits both Andromeda and Vindicator right there. Vindicator's going to fall as well, of course. In comes our Chronosphere. It connects on all 3. And I think Reason Gaming is going to be eyeing that concede bow here in the very near future because it's just all over. It's just all over, man. Holy crap. BMG really is playing on the ball here.
Yeah, they definitely are. It seems like this week of vacation for them really, really worked out. there is not much negative to say about this game. They really, really, as soon as it got to the point where they were able to do, when they got their core items, when they started finishing off those phase boots on Magnus, their supports got a lot of early kills, which gave them steam boots, made engineers survive these team fights and get these huge plays, as we saw. So, I mean, yeah, they just played it really, really well. Good movement, executing their lineup exactly like it needed to be executed, shutting down the right targets, and just beautiful play. Not much I can say. I mean, Burn Cleaver on Chronos is basically like the only negative thing that I can think about, except for individual laning mistakes.
Yeah. And obviously that didn't even really matter in the end. You know, if
Not
Reason was able to slow the pace down, if they were able to start recovering, then that definitely could have played an impact throughout this game. But it simply did not, obviously. And so at the end of the game, BMG, basically about a 16-minute victory there, making a statement from the beginning and taking it home. So, yeah, Reason Gaming has their work cut out for them here in this best of the 3. Quick game number 1. Will Reason Gaming be able to fight back like we know they can and force a game 3, if anything, or will BMG, will they take care of business? And again,